vacation for a couple weeks, you come back and your team's dead. It's not doing anything. It lost momentum. Why did it lose momentum? Because you were really the energetic force behind the team, right? It's your energy, it's your enthusiasm, it's your charisma, and you're building it together. See, I've got a leadership training I do, and it's got the 5 levels of leadership. And, you know, at that first stage of leadership, your team is dependent on you. You're the energetic force behind the team, right? And so if you go away, your team dies down, okay? Or you're not even at that leader level, you might be at that producer level. In other words, a producer level is maybe, you know, you got 50 people on your team, 60 people on your team. That's kind of the producer level. When you go on vacation, your team dies off, it's a sign that you haven't built enough leadership to maintain the growth after you're gone. And so you always keep in mind, whatever you're doing, always have the mindset that you want to replace yourself. You never want to be the guru. You never want to be presentation man. Can you enroll more people by you doing every presentation? Absolutely. And that's how I used to be. I mean, it was like, I'm going to do every presentation, but I quickly realized that I wasn't building leaders. And see, within my current organization, our team has over 100 people on the team have hit the top rank in the company. It's an average income of, really good. Okay. It's an amazing income, right? So, compliance wise, I held myself back. And one of the reasons for that, it's duplication of leadership is really important. So I'm always pushing people. Here's what my mentor did with me. He said, you know, for the first 2 or 3 presentations, I'm going to do the whole thing for you. The next 2 or 3, I'm going to have you do half of it and I'll do half of it. After that, I want to watch you do the whole thing and then I'll be there to answer questions. So 2 or 3, you do it all. 2 or 3, half and half. 2 or 3, you watch. He did the first 3 or 4 for me actually, and then it was pretty much you go do it, unless it was a live event. And so what happened is I wanted him to continue doing all of the presentations, but because he understood duplication of leadership, he wasn't going to do for me what I wasn't willing to do for myself. And that caused me to be a leader. Now, there's a fine line. See, leadership development is much more art than it is science. And so it really depends on the person. There are people I continued doing a lot of presentations before because they just did not have leadership ability in them yet. And I'm looking for a leader. But when you go on vacation and you're coming back, you want to create events for your team to build to. You want to start promoting events. You obviously want to continue personally producing yourself, but you want to do some events. Like maybe it's an in-home presentation, a launch party, inviting everyone out to the launch party. If you've got someone else coming in town to do a presentation, you're promoting hard to that. You're circling the wagon. See, what we're doing as leaders is we're always bringing people around the campfire. And see, around the campfire, it's warm, it's hot, it feels good around the campfire. But when you go out of town and you're the campfire, they forget about how good it feels being around the campfire. The key is you don't want to have to always be the campfire, bringing people around you. You very quickly want to have people to start having their own weekly meetings. Commit to doing a Thursday night event at their house or their, apartment community clubhouse, things like that. You're always pushing people to take on that leadership role. And listen, I've made that mistake so many times where I've pushed that on someone before they were ready. But in some cases, you have to go slow to go fast. It would be faster for me to be in the trenches, personally recruiting every single person. But if I'm not building leadership, as soon as I go away, it dies. So that's a handful of things. Hopefully that helps. I appreciate the question.